Hey everybody, it's Daphne from Laura Entertainment. We are sitting down with the very, very lovely Carla Christina Contreras. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. You pronounced my name beautifully.
I try to get them right. I really do. Sometimes you can't, you try, but you can't. So what have you been up to? What's going on in the world of SAG?
Oh, well, SAG-Aftra has been very, very, very busy, but then again, not busy. I am on the National Negotiating Committee for the TV and theatrical negotiations for the new contract. And right now, of course, as most people know, we are on strike because we're waiting for the studios to come back to the table to actually negotiate with me. And I do want to say there's not a lot I can say about negotiations. So I'm going to leave it with that. I know that that's kind of frustrating, but we have to be really careful what we say.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get it. I was trying to stay clear of a little bit of those topics anyway, because I mean, there's so many other things you can talk about, and
Mhm.
it is what it is for right now. It'll work itself out eventually, and
It
we'll
will.
eventually. But I mean, there are just so many people that going on. They could be doing a lot of other things that the people that are not union, I feel like, their time is better spent training and getting ready for everybody to open back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing if I had the time for it.
Right. I try to tell people all the time, if you're not doing anything, train, 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 do something constructive, something. There you go. You know, something, but there are so many people. So tell us about you.
So what I mean, that's a big question. Where do you want me to go specifically?
You did some acting,
Oh,
correct?
yeah, sure, I still do acting. I mean, I'm a member volunteer. So I have my career started out in Los Angeles. I was born and raised behind the camera. My father worked behind the camera, and so I was born into the industry. My father was what I call a blue collar worker in the entertainment industry. He was a grip, a dolly grip, a crab dolly, a best boy. Uh, for the latter part of his career, he was a key grip. And so for my childhood, I pretty much spent most of my off time from school at the studios with my dad. I couldn't get enough. So a lot of times I could be found sitting on an apple box or a ladder or maybe a director's chair, or, you never know who I might be sitting next to. It could be an Academy Award winning cinematographer, a script supervisor. I could be kind of intertwined, where they couldn't see me. And my father would basically find a place for me to sit, and he would go like this. And then he would say to me, "If you need to go to the bathroom, if I walk by, let me know." And I'd be like, "Okay, pop." And so, and it was really interesting because it didn't occur to me until about probably 5 years or so ago that that was my master class, that that was really getting to be on sets like that from I would say I really spent a lot of time on the studio sets from the age of 11 on. Uh, yes, I started working at the age of 3 in commercials. Both my parents were in the entertainment industry, although mom had pretty much given her career up to raise a family, which was her dream.
Yeah.
She had moved from Chicago to Los Angeles. She was a professional singer. That all happened before I was born. I didn't get to witness any of that. But then once she got married in those olden days, my father, from what she told me, said, "Is it your career or is it me and building a family?" And so her choice was building a family.
Yeah.
But she saw in me probably what she saw in herself. And so she really did support me and believe in me. And throughout my career, she was always right there helping out, whether it be a workshop up in Hollywood with one of my acting classes. She'd do the catering and different things to help us, for the casting directors to come in. And then my dad, he was a little different. He wasn't quite as supportive, and now that I'm older, I think that I understand more why, in a sense, that he didn't want me there.
Yeah.
I think that actors aren't necessarily very terribly respected at times by crew, and, I've learned some things recently, nicknames and so forth that the actors are called by crew. So, I kid my crew friends, and one of the nicknames is Meat Puppet, and I'll say, "Hey, the Meat Puppet over here wants to know if," just to like push it back at them. My dad sometimes would come home and refer to actors as the furniture. So it was kind of derogatory, but I don't know. That's the business. That's humanity. There's a pecking order. Maybe there's jealousy.
So, I mean, I feel the same way. So, the higher up actors, they get a lot more respect. But I started background, and I feel like that. I mean, certain sets, not all sets, because I've been on good ones and I've been on some that are just horrible. And the way that background, I believe, the uncredited thing that bugs the hell out of me because if they're doing your movie for free and they're going to be there for 3 to 5 days, and some of them are doing, unpaid, and at least give them a credit. It doesn't have to be superstar or, anything like that, but some kind, instead of putting uncredited, just put the damn role that they were there to do, That's it.
I've seen short film filmmakers credit the background lady on bench,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. But I mean, the uncredited, you think like, okay, the very first movie I did was Donnybrook. Oh my God, I had so much fun doing that because I was there for 3 nights in the cold, shorts and a tank top,
Oh gosh.
12 degrees outside from 5 at night till 5 in the morning. Oh, yeah. For that cage fight outside. Yeah, that was fun. But I had so much fun. I was covered in mud and everything. But when they put, Reveler or whatever role, and then it's uncredited, I'm like, I was there for 3 damn nights freezing my ass off when half that cast dipped out,
Wow.
sucking it up. And
Well, to me, that's the love of this business. I
yeah,
mean, there are things that we do for this business that sometimes I have to check myself. Um, yeah, it's and I gotta tell you, currently I'm on the negotiating committee for SAG-Aftra, and it has and it's all volunteer.
yeah.
I'm the president of the Nashville local. I've given 30 years of service. Um, again, dealing with the human condition, different members, and so forth. It's actually been kind of easy breezy until recently. I'm just dealing with some wrinkles here and there within membership, but I love what I do. I love being on set. Whenever I'm on set, I feel like I'm home. And as far as the background goes, because we've been on strike, um, I did take a job as a production assistant recently. The pay wasn't too bad until it was 12 hours on my feet. And I was like, okay, this is not for me. I'm spoiled. I'm used to being one of the talent, be it a small role or whatever. And this is hard work.
Yeah.
I respect the background, and I can tell you that one thing I can say about our negotiations is there's a lot in our package for the background. So
That's awesome.
you guys are very, very much thought of and revered and respected with what you do because it couldn't be done without background.
Oh, no. No, I mean, there are some movies that probably could be, but there's a lot of movies that couldn't. So, how did you end up going from LA to Tennessee? What drew you there? That's what I'm dying to know. Like, what it's beautiful there. It
Oh,
is.
it's gorgeous, and that's why I stayed. Okay, so let me back this up. I was doing an off LA show in I was doing Anything Goes, and I was playing Reno Sweeney at the Kentwood Playhouse in Los Angeles, and June Lockhart happened to be in the audience. I had no idea she was there. I don't know if you're familiar, that goes back Lost in Space. Um, anyway, she was in the audience and someone came backstage after the show and said, "Hey, June Lockhart's in the audience. She asked if she could come back and talk to you." And I said, "Okay, sure." And so she came back and she basically told me that she thought I was amazing and that she wanted to help me. And so she became a mentor and she started guiding my career and my training. And so I started working with a singing coach, Bob Korf. He's very well known in Los Angeles, and he did a lot. I started taking like his musical theater classes. And then one day in class, he said to me, I want you to pick a style of music that you would never do. And I was like, that's easy. Country and Western music. Now in California, they call it country and Western. In Tennessee, they call it country. But I didn't learn that until I came to Nashville.
Yeah.
So I decided to go out and find some country and Western music and see what I what might interest me. And of course, almost felt like I was going like this as I went along because I didn't really care for country and Western music. So my husband was like, "Well, wait a minute. There's a couple of people I think you might like." So he introduced me to Tanya Tucker, Roseanne Cash, Jeannie Fricky, and I'm like, "That is country music, country and western, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I started singing Tanya Tucker songs and Roseanne Cash tunes. And then we put up a big showcase in Hollywood on the Sunset Strip at Gazzari's, which is no longer it burned down, but it was a very well-known club on the Sunset Strip. And so we put a workshop together, a showcase, and let me tell you, this was a Vegas level showcase. And I started doing country and Western songs. The next thing my agent said to me, "Hey, I have a couple of songwriters that I represent. Would you be interested in learning, going and demoing songs, working with songwriters?" I was like, "Yes, that sounds interesting." So then I got hooked up with a songwriter. She was coming to Nashville just to shop her songs and said to me, "Hey, you want to come along? You can stay in my room. I'm going for 9 days." I was like, "That sounds like an interesting adventure. Why not?" And so she told me put together a 3-song cassette because at that time it was cassettes.
Yeah. I remember those days.
And so some of the top songwriters in Los Angeles, I got some of their original songs and I put that together with my demo and came to Nashville. One of the first nights we were in Nashville, we went to a songwriter in the round event, which is, I don't know if they do that so much anymore here, but there, you used to go to any club and you could see songwriters in the round and they were shopping their songs. And so you never knew who would be sitting in the audience. It could be one of the record labels looking for tunes for their artists. And so I started going around. Anyway, the first night there, I met another guy from California. We became fast friends and he really showed me Nashville. I fell in love with the countryside. I was going through a divorce And I thought, what a great way to turn a new leaf. Why don't I go have an adventure in Nashville? We're parting our ways, we're parting our material objects, money and everything. And I'm thinking, this resonates with me.
Mhm.
And he took me to his farm. It was like 69 acres, and I'm walking across, it's like a football fields, and the wind went through my hair, and I thought, "Oh my god, I need to live here." And 2.5 months later, I left on New Year's morning in 1992 and headed for Nash Vegas, as we call it here, and I did not mean to stay this long. I thought maybe I'd be here 5 years, maybe 10, but the quality of life has really kept me here, and then my involvement with SAG-Aftra Nashville. I did get the Nashville sound in my vocals. That was the main component that I was looking for, and then at a certain point, I decided the music business really wasn't my thing. I'm truly an actor first, and then discovering that there's this amazing film community in Nashville, I became a part of it and started doing workshops for actors. I formed the Actors Alliance here. And then the next thing I knew, I was invited to get on the SAG. It was SAG then, the SAG board of directors. And then I pretty much have stayed for 30 years through merger, and I'm pretty much very well known in the film industry here, through SAG-AFTRA and through my work. So,
It's beautiful there. My sister lived in what is that? Old Hickory, and then I knew people that lived in White House, and I came down there also to the show Nashville, and that was a lot of fun too. But it was just driving through there. It's so pretty. I mean, it's pretty because back here, Kentucky, Ohio, it's kind of almost the same place anyway. And but there, I don't know why.
where
It.
are you?
I'm in Ohio, Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've driven through Cincinnati. I have not like done Cincinnati. Isn't that where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is?
That's Cleveland.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cleveland. Okay. Okay. So Cincinnati, then I've just driven through, I think on 65. I've not
Oh,
stopped.
you went the other way. Okay, so you went through, if you're coming from Nashville, you would have went through Kentucky, and then I think you go back through Indiana, and I think it brings you
Well,
around.
I had gone all the way up to New Hampshire, and I had come across, and yeah, I used to, one of my side jobs, believe me, one of the reasons why I moved here too was to see this side of the country.
Yeah.
So I have driven from Nashville to Key West, and I have driven all the way up to Maine, Bar Harbor, or Bahaba as they say there. And I used to do wedding photography as a side gig because I'm an artist. And so I drove up to Virginia, stopped to see a friend. Then I went up to Boston, New Hampshire. Then I went over to Rochester, New York, came down. Yeah, because I was doing an artistic after
Wow.
I shot the wedding. And that's when I came through Cincinnati.
That's one place I'm dying to go. I've never been. I've been in a lot of places because I grew up in Las Vegas. I lived in California for a little bit, and New York is actually one of the places I have not been yet, and I plan on going. But I want to go New Year's for the
Oh,
new.
like to New York City? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been there for New Year's. Actually, I was there right after 9/11 for New Year's. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
One
see
of
that.
my acting coaches had a New Year's Eve party, and I went to her party. Yeah.
I want to see the ball drop. I just one time, just one time. That's it. And I'm going to go one of these days. Oh, yeah, it's gonna
I
happen.
always think about where do all those people go to the bathroom? That's what I'm like.
I heard that once you're down there and crammed, that you are not allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see how you could, and I just think, "Okay, does everybody have a catheter on?"
Sell them down there. You probably make some money from it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, or they're wearing
Catheter.
depends, you know?
That would be so funny. So I've heard a lot of people are moving from LA just because, the general cost of living out there is so high.
Well, but they're bringing their cost of living here. I
Uh,
mean, about 4 years let's see, before the pandemic, I was shopping for land. I'm really fortunate, my house sits on 12.8 acres. We're in the woods, in a hollow, up a hill. And the hill goes all the way up, but we're about here. And then it's very secluded. We're surrounded by thousands upon thousands of trees, very private. And as I'm getting older, I don't want a two-story house anymore. And so I've been shopping for land. I wanted to build a log cabin, hybrid with stone, timbers. So I'm looking for land. It's 1,500 an acre, 2,500 an acre. I put it off for about a year, and then the pandemic hits, and then all of a sudden, the cost of acres now have gone up to 10,000, 15,000.
wow.
If it's on the water, it could be 60,000, 90,000, depending. Yeah.
They'll
They
bring it back down. They'll bring the price of that back down. It'll come down eventually.
I hope so.
I know, right?
I hope so because I don't want a two-story house anymore. I mean, sure, the value of my house has gone up and the value of my land too. I'm constantly getting offers for both my land next door and this, and I'm like, no, where am I? And I've seen people here sell their houses because it's gone up in value, and then they can't find any place they can afford.
I know. They try to buy this house, and I'm so, like, why do you guys keep sending things here every other week? You get 50 things and here we want to buy your house. You're no. No. And that is the issue. People do sell their houses because they're not thinking about it. And then when they go to find one of their own, they're screwed. And then there's bidding wars, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and that's just crazy. But steering away from the guild, are you working on any projects for when we start filming again?
No, there's not anything in particular in the hopper, because right now I really am all encompassed with negotiations. It has, I mean, I just had to cancel an event that I was going to show up to as president of the local because a meeting was called for this afternoon. And the thing is I'm on the edge of my seat, as is everyone, about these negotiations. Now, are have I heard of anybody around me getting ready to do something? No, they're all waiting. They're chomping at the bit to get to work. Although I've heard that there are productions that are gearing up to get started, but we don't have an agreement yet. So,
I've got one or
really? Okay.
one or two. But there's another question that everybody seems to be confused of. This doesn't have anything to do with like negotiations or anything, but the waiver for the Screen Actors Guild actors to actually be able to act in these movies. Can you clarify how this is working for people to
Okay, so let me first say there is no waiver. There's no such thing as a waiver. There never has been a waiver for this strike. It is called the interim agreement. What it is an actual contract. And so waivers are different in there's an existing contract and there's something about it that doesn't fit, and then you get a waiver. That does not apply here. All of our existing contracts that expired June 30th, they are no longer. So there's no way to get a waiver on something that no longer works. They're done. That's it. But we created the interim agreement that is an actual contract, and we invite anyone not a part of the AMPTP to utilize our interim agreement. And it's really important that people realize there's no waivers, because that's something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was a little confused by that because I know I have actors, that I want to bring onto these projects that are Screen Actors Guild also. And everybody's like, get a waiver, a waiver. And I'm like, no, I've already looked on the website and I know that you have to submit everything because they got to check it out before they can even agree to this. And
Yeah, and I should tell you, I do have a movie that's coming out. Maybe that's more towards what you were asking me. I have a film that's coming out, and I can talk about it because I'm not sure if they've gotten approval. Okay, I could, I should have looked it up before we got together here, but I know that they did apply for an interim agreement, and I know that they were crowdfunded. So I know that they do not have any AMPTP connections, and that movie will be coming out December 1st. But just to be safe, I wish I could look that up really quick, but I don't know if it's been approved yet. I'm pretty sure it will be, but I don't know yet.
yeah, I
I
mean,
will tell you that the program The Chosen,
oh yeah, I know. I got a friend on that show actually.
okay, they have an interim agreement and they are working on their next season. Well, my film is associated with the production company that did The Chosen. So that's giving you some clues.
Yeah, Steve, a friend of mine. I'll give him a shout out, Steve. He knows who he is. He's on that show, and there are so many that shows. Just it's a great show. It really is, and
Yeah, really well done. My best friend in Los Angeles had a pretty good role in the first season.
yeah. So oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? I know. Well, I mean about the chosen. As far as the AI, I won't go as far as that, but I'm not going to ask questions about that. This would just be like my own personal opinion. Me, I'm more of an old school type person, and
Mhm,
I like the way that the movies were made back then, you know,
mhm,
not with
mhm.
all the green screens where people were actually getting in the cars and they're actually driving and crashing the cars or whatever. That's the type of person I am. And as far as steering clear, like I'm trying as far as my projects to steer clear of the artificial because there's so many Marvel movies and all of those movies that kids love. They love the movies. I'm not knocking the movies, but I miss the days where we're the ones that get to crash the cars and the helicopters and do everything ourselves, instead of playing with the green screen.
Right.
Cool.
So what's your question?
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Which
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you every step of the way. I don't think that we should be utilizing artificial intelligence to make movies. And I would say the majority, I really don't know anyone who's for AI.
yeah.
If anything, we need to be protected from it.
Yeah.
And the more I learn about AI, boy, howdy, do we need to be protected from it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that they have to use them in movies like that. Like the Marvel movies and all of that. But the older days movies still were finished without it because they didn't have it. We
Well,
barely
they used CGI.
yeah.
CGI has been around for a very, very long time, and I have a complete technical background. I was on the cutting edge of when the internet started for the public and so forth. Another day job with a Fortune 500 company, and CGI. My gosh, it's been around. I want to say the late '90s, early 2000. I remember when we got our first equipment. So this is nothing new, but artificial intelligence is a whole different ball game.
The CGI, I know they probably needed that for the Star Wars because the original one you could see the little string, you know. So yeah, I agree with that. Use the Get rid of that. But I mean, certain films, they go overboard. And I'm just so old school. I'm an old school type person. And I'm just
I
like,
love that.
it makes it easier. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out. Even if we got to stand out there with a string, you know,
Well, who are they gonna put on the red carpet? Who's gonna promote?
it would look like that movie, I Robot.
Hey, I was in Los Angeles for negotiations. I just got back. I was driving around, I think yeah, I was coming up Sunset Boulevard, and there was this box that was about this big on wheels with a little flag, and people walking on the sidewalks, the thing would stop and it almost looked like it would look up at the person like, could you get out of the way? And then it would roll and keep going. The box was delivering something. I don't know what it was because it didn't say,
Yeah.
but yeah, these little rolling boxes were on the sidewalks in Los Angeles, in
In
Hollywood.
California.
Yeah.
They just roll around. Nobody tries to take them.
Uh-uh.
What the hell, man?
I
Oh,
know. I mean, I literally was mesmerized. I'm sitting at a red light and I'm like, and then I watch this guy who's on his phone. I don't have my phone here, but he's on his phone and all of a sudden he goes like this. And then he goes, oh, and he has to get out of the way.
oh my God, that's as bad as when I heard on the news that they were going to start using drones to bring groceries. And I'm thinking in my head, how the hell is that even gonna work? I
I
mean,
know.
seriously, a drone is just gonna go pick up, like, say it's 30 bags of groceries and fly wherever the hell it needs to go to drop them off. I mean, what the hell? What?
To
Serious?
me, I don't know when because you're much younger than me growing up, to me, this is the Jetsons are happening. We're living. Are you familiar with the Jetsons?
I used to love that show.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, well, the Jetsons are here. We are here.
It they oh my god, it's just crazy, and that's almost like the same with Tesla, the cars Tesla, where they're made to I guess they drive on their own or something. There are people sleeping behind the wheel of these cars. What in the hell is wrong with these people? Anything can happen. You're sleeping, the car's driving, you don't know
Right,
what's gonna happen.
right,
I want a car that one uses gas. If it's a hybrid, that's cool, but uses gas. I want to make it there first off.
right,
I like to control my car, so I'm a big stick shift fan. You know, I want to be in complete control of whatever it is I'm doing, not let it control me. You
right. I've always been a manual
yeah.
transmission girl myself up until recently. The car I drive now, they don't make it in stick shift anymore. I'm
I have
and I'm a sports car girl, so
I love muscle cars, but the car I have right now, it's not a stick. I really wish it was, but I grew up driving stick shifts like motorcycles. I ride motorcycles. So I mean, it's just the stick shift, if it dies, you can jump it. You just roll it,
yeah, yeah.
kick
Yeah, I'm a muscle car girl. I drive a Corvette, so there you go.
I'm looking for a GTO. I want a GTO.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one of these days.
I believe you. I said I was gonna have Corvettes, and I've had 4 of them. So
Those are
you
fun.
do. I'm a believer. Get what you love.
Definitely, definitely. So we are definitely going to thank you for coming on.
Oh my goodness, are we done already? Is
Oh,
that
no,
it?
I thought you had a meeting. No, we can
Oh, no, no, not till after 2. So
oh,
we're good.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you had a meeting. I'm like, all right. So, okay, outside of a Corvette, though, what would be your other favorite muscle car?
Mm, well, okay, that's easy. And I'll give you some background. When I was 16 years old, I worked on a film called Viva Knievel. And Evil Knievel what had a slew of Harley Davidsons throughout that film and Stutz Bearcats, but there was one car in particular that I got a ride in. Ferrari is my car. I always thought I would drive a Ferrari, But then I fell in love with the Corvette in my early 20s, had my first Corvette when I was 25, 26, and I thought to myself, "This is enough." And I do have a cousin who has a Ferrari. He took me for a ride in Southern California, and I just turned and looked at him and thought, "You must be really frustrated driving this car here because he can't go anywhere and really go for it."
Hammer. Yeah.
Unless he goes to Texas or whatever, but I think he pretty much stays in Southern California, and I think, "Man, this car is frustrating to me. You can't really do anything with it." And
Yeah.
that's another thing is that I get to drive my Corvette around the East Coast and around the South, and if I can drive there, I drive there.
Yeah. Because you get the back roads, and then what a lot of people don't realize is I don't know if it's the same way as it was in Vegas and California anymore, but I remember at night, yeah, those freeways were packed, but here they open up
Yeah.
and it's fun. And the other day, I'm pretty much hopefully, somebody don't mail me a ticket for this one, but what I have an Alpha. The Alpha.
Hmm, nice.
And I really want to see what this car can do because I haven't even put it in the other mode yet.
What's
You
the fastest you've gone?
So far in this one, 120.
Oh, okay.
One
I've done 140 in my vet.
I had a Challenger and I missed that Challenger. And I tell you what, I had that car. I was racing. I was racing this other Challenger and it had the Hemi. I didn't. And then all of a sudden this Mustang got on too. And so we're all three hauling ass, you know what I mean? Down. And I tell you what, it's not the car, it's the driver, and I'm more crazier than they were. So I just kind of, dipped off.
Mine was,
Yeah.
I had totaled my 2009 Corvette, in the rain. I did a hydroplane turning, hit a guardrail, continued to turn, hit the guardrail again, and they totaled it, and I had just had the clutch fixed. So I wanna say with the clutch and everything else, I put new tires on it. Say it was like 8 grand I had just put into it, and then I totaled it. And of course, I lost all that. So I kinda punished myself for a little while, and I drove my husband's truck. He works out on the road, so I could just drive his truck. And then when he came home, I had to find a car, so I went online, and the car I really, really wanted, I have today. It's a Laguna Blue, C7 Corvette. It's a 2015. And I went online and I said, "C7 Laguna Blue Stingray." One car comes up in the United States available. It was in Phoenix, Arizona. So I called him up and I said, I would like to have that car. Can you hold it for me? We can hold it for 4 days." I'm like, "Well, I can't get out there for 7. Can you please hold it?" They held it. I flew to Phoenix, picked it up, didn't test drive it. It didn't matter to me. It had 6,300 miles on it, and they bring it out, put a big ass ribbon on it,
You're fine.
and
You're fine.
we took some photos, and then I went down to Yuma and then down to Tucson to see my last living uncle, and then I drove up through Texas. So I'm getting off an off-ramp, and I'm hearing some buzzing. I get off this off-ramp and I look and I'm like, "Nah, not this one." And I go down and across to get back up onto the highway, and I hit it, and I look down and I'm going 140 miles an hour, and I'm telling you, it felt like 70 miles an hour. It was, and I thought, "Holy shit. Oh my god, I gotta be careful." This is my favorite Corvette I have ever had, and it's a conversation piece because of the color of it, and people just go nuts over
Blue's my
my.
favorite color anyway. I like blue. But my thing is, the Ferraris. I mean, your friend had a Ferrari. I don't care for those kind of cars because the paddle shifters, I don't want to feel like I'm playing a video game. I'd rather actually be
I have paddle shifters in this one. I use them occasionally, but because they no longer make the Corvette, it's stick shift.
oh, really?
So, yeah, that's it. They don't make them. Mm-mm.
Damn. They're taking all the fun out of it. It's
Yeah,
probably
and to me, the new Corvettes look like a Ferrari. They actually, to me, look like a Ferrari
yeah,
or a Lamborghini.
yeah,
They haven't grown on me yet because I like the old Ferraris
yeah.
better. Yeah.
I like the McLaren. The McLaren, there's just something about that car. I don't
Mm.
know what it is. I think if I ever decided I was going to drop that kind of money on a car,
Yeah, yeah.
e-
I
either
was in I was in Texas. I was coming back through Austin, sitting at a light, and there was a gorgeous black Ferrari sedan. I have a picture of it. In fact, Marta King Young, my partner in our sitcom, I was coming from a film that we worked on in, they call it Blanco, Texas. I swear it should be Blanco. I mean, but anyway, they call it Blanco. We were coming from there, and I just most beautiful black Ferrari sedan, and I thought, yeah, maybe I could drive. Maybe one day. We'll see.
another one I've actually God, I hate this cold. I've been checking out and they've had it up twice and I'm trying like how to get this car. And it's the Green Hornet car.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My dad worked on that show, The Green
Oh,
Hornet.
really? Did he?
Are you talking about the new Green Hornet?
With Seth Rogen or Seth
Okay.
uh, yeah, that's his name, right? Seth Rogen? Yeah. But that car, I've seen that for sale twice. And
Huh.
both times I dropped the ball. If it comes up again, I'm getting it. But I'm just kind of wondering, because it has the guns and stuff like that on the
Okay, this is a different Green Hornet because 'cause I'm talking about the one front with Bruce Lee was a
original.
part of. Yeah.
Yeah, the new movie, that car has been up twice. And they only wanted 18 grand for it, which surprised the hell out of me. But I wonder if like I bought it, the kind of looks I'd get driving it through the city with a little I probably get pulled over every block or they'd set up a crew down there to make sure I wasn't there to shoot shit up. But I really want that car. I like it though. It's really cool. I would put it like in a garage, I think.
See, that's hard for me. I mean, my Corvette now has over 70,000 miles on it because I've driven everywhere. I mean, yeah.
So when you're making your trips like back and forth from like California and Nashville and you keep going out there, are you flying or are you driving?
I'm flying because that's too far, because I I'm a volunteer for the union and they pay my expenses. They're not gonna pay for that
Yeah.
because the gas to get out there one way is probably at least twice as much as a flight. Because usually when I go out to LA for negotiations, I just get a one-way ticket because I have no idea how long I'm gonna stay, and I was there for 6 weeks, June and July, and then came home, and then I just did 10 days in LA, and then if they come back to the table, then I will get called back to Los Angeles, and I'll fly because I just don't have the time, and they're not gonna reimburse for that.
Plus, it would be if you drive how I do,
It would be 2 days.
yeah, 2 days. I would attempt it. I don't know. I'm more of a once I hit the
Normally, it's 3 days,
yeah, I know.
but in my Corvette, I've done up to 18 hours
Yeah.
behind the wheel, just stopping. You get up, you go around, you look at stuff, whatever. Okay, let's go, and then get back behind the wheel because that car, I can just drive that car forever.
I've done that, the 18-hour. That's a hell of a long time. Actually, it might have been closer to 20 because I drove from here to Wisconsin, turned around that same night, came back, and then I drove when I went to oh my god, that was Atlanta. I was awake. Woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay. They didn't put out the casting sheet or the call sheet until 11 o'clock that night. For that following morning, I'm here in Ohio. So I didn't sleep at all. I got ready, loaded the car, head down there, 7.5 hours down, worked all day until 7 o'clock at night, turned around and drove all the way back here, 8 hours. That was a long 2 days for me. Long two
It's
days.
it's amazing what we do when we're doing what we love.
I know. I
And
know.
of course, driving is one of them too. So,
Driving is fun. I love fun. Have you ever got on a motorcycle?
oh yeah, I have a Honda Shadow 500. It's a 1983. It's a vintage sitting in my garage. Haven't ridden it in a while because it's got a little electrical gremlin right now. So, but
So
yeah, I
female
love
rider.
motorcycles. Say what?
That another female rider.
Absolutely. It's on
How
my resume. I'm a motorcycle mama.
Me too. I got tired of being the bitch on the back. Seriously, and I was just like, I don't like feeling like somebody else is in control of my situation. So
Mhm.
I went and I got my endorsement. First, it kind of went backwards. I bought the motorcycle
Uh-oh.
and then got the endorsement. It was crazy. It's fun though. I love female writers. We'll all have to get together because I know Lynn Meyer, who does the casting here in Ohio too. She rides. So we'll get
You know,
together.
I need to connect to Ohio a little bit more. I've been suggested to get in with some of the agents, Heyman Talent, and I haven't followed through with that. I don't know. I need to move it around a little bit. After we get a contract, I've got some work to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, I can put you in touch with some of those people.
Cool.
But
Cool.
I'm gonna wrap this up. We're gonna stay on after. Um, I definitely am thanking you for coming on, and we will have to get together now that I know that you're a female writer. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm well-rounded
Me too.
in more ways than one.
All right. We are definitely thanking you, Carla. And to everybody who is watching, we're going to say, see you next time. Bye.
I remember all those nights when I'd see that night when I first gave my heart to yours, I was scared and feeling insecure. You told me, my darling, even on your darkest day,